Alright, I just want to do a quick video on Edward Leedskalnin and the third obelisk that he made. This is Ed's first place. As I've mentioned in other videos, I believe this was the top of one of maybe the first obelisk he tried to raise, or this could be from the second one that he tried to raise. For the one that he did get standing, I've always wondered. In 1928 is when Ed says he made the obelisk. But then it took several years after before Ed actually raised the obelisk. Even in 1930, the obelisk has not been raised. This is in 1930, there is no obelisk there. By January 3rd of 1932, the obelisk has been raised. So we don't know what year he raised it. But we do know that he waited a number of years before he did raise it. What would be the reason for that? So according to ED.L, Ed tried to carve two of these obelisks, and he failed at raising them. He broke two of them, and this is his third attempt. I feel maybe the first obelisks were a little bit rushed. It's over here in an old newspaper article. Ed learned that the coral rock, while solid, is soft and easily cut before it is long exposed to the air. So Ed may have carved the obelisk, the star obelisk, back in 1928, and then what he would have done is he would have raised it up on some logs lying down, something like this, and he would have let the air get to it for a number of years. According to Google, oolitic limestone is very soft when first quarried and can be easily worked. So when exposed to air over a long period of time, and Ed may have been dampening it, just like you would do a concrete slab. You don't want a concrete slab to harden too quick. You don't want it to dry out too quick, or it will get brittle and it will crack. Now, over a number of years, Ed may have laid out this obelisk on logs, had air get into it, but he was also keeping it moist, maybe with tarps over top of it or something. And the slower that the reactions occur, the better the crystals you get, the bigger the crystals you get. So the stronger the stone you get in the end. And then a number of years later is when he raised it. As I've theorized in other videos, I do believe the pieces were still left at Ed's place of his last obelisk. The top would have been the ADM sign. And then there's another piece. Which would have been the bottom. That's still at the original Ed's place in Florida City. So if you check out some different videos, they show you how they dig the oolitic limestone in Florida and other places. And they use a backhoe and other methods. It is fairly soft when you get down in there. But we're not talking a mud soft. It's just not as hard as the actual stone when it has been dried. If you watch some of these videos, you see where Ed put in his wedges. These are where Ed's wedges went in. All the wedges across there. Ed was pounding these wedges into the bottom of this oolitic limestone. And this shows you how soft it was, how malleable it was. So you can carve that out, bring it up, but it doesn't have much strength to it, I believe, until it's dried. Just like wood, also, limestone is quite heavy when wet and lighter when dry. So Ed lets these dry out for a while, and they also become lighter. Why would you want to raise the weight of all that, the water in that stone too, right? Other videos, you can see these masons who are chopping the stone with an axe, just like they say Ed did. You can see the axes in Ed's tool shed. I'm not sure how fresh this stuff is, but that's the video right there. Carlstone Masonry Escape from Miami. You can see how one can work with it. Different things you can do to cut it. This is a really good video. Check that out. Pretty cool. Also this, I don't recall exactly what they're doing here. They might be hardening the surface. But this is also how cement is made out of the limestone. You crush it, you heat it, go through all the process. So that's probably how Ed was making his own cement too. I'm not positive Ed was making his own cement, but it looks like he was. I don't know how readily available Portland cement was back then. And I think Ed added his own stuff to it if he did just get normal Portland cement. This photo here could be a stone. It's up on the logs and it's airing out. It's drying. These are tailings over here after the dressing, perhaps, when it was soft. A lot of these stones are drying out, I think. Why else would he wait so long to set up his obelisk? Made 1928. If you look at the photos, it was not put up till sometime later. I think that's all for now. Another theory I've been working on. Why would he set up this crescent over here? Sit in the crescent and stare at the star. I wonder if this represents Venus. I'll get more into it in another video. I don't have a ton of evidence. I don't have much to back up the theory. I just don't know enough about these things. But something called combustion, where Venus drops below the Sun by 10 degrees when it is in a specific position relative to Earth. This phenomenon is known as combustion and occurs when Venus is within 8 to 10 degrees of the Sun. So what do we got? We have the Venus morning sky phases. Venus rises into the morning sky 10 degrees from Sun, always retrograde. Venus stations direct 16 days later. I'll see if anything else can back up this theory, and I'll do a video on it. I'm sure many will disagree with that the obelisk may represent Venus. Yes, I should get back in here and fix this place up a bit. I don't know what's going on there. The room still looks good. Yeah, so that's about it. I will do more on this later. I guess bottom line for the video, I think Ed was airing these out, letting them dry, letting them harden, also letting them become a little bit lighter. You know, you want to get all that water out, just like wood. Think of firewood. He didn't raise the obelisk for a number of years because of this. He was letting it dry out, he was letting it do its thing and get stronger, and then he raised it. He learned from the other two that they would break. If this one is one of the originals with the ED.L sign, it would have broke. Well, you'll have to look at the pieces in the other video I've got. It breaks in a certain section where you see the weight would have torn it down, right? We don't know where he was anchoring from, where he was pulling it from, how he was doing it exactly. So that's my theory on why Ed waited so long to put up the obelisk at Ed's place. As I've said in the other videos, notice that the obelisk is looking north-south. We're at Rockgate. The obelisk is east-west. Ed said that he left his Sweet 16 back here. He did leave the ED.L sign back here. And he did leave this other piece back here, and a number of other things, including this. Amazing work. Alright, anyway, I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you for all your time.